What's going on, everybody? This is that one Bond guy. Again, doing another interview here along with my series, that one Bond guy meets, and today we have none other than Ray from the Bond Armory. So thank you, man, for coming and joining us today. This is such a treat for me. This is so exciting.
Oh, absolutely, man. Thank you for having me. I was looking forward to it.
So first off, I mean, I know today is a very special day. It's going to be busy, like we were talking about earlier. You have an event going on, which is going to be super cool.
Yes, yeah. We got a little get together with Bud West from the Bond Brain. Just gonna meet up at a local place, have a couple drinks, talk Bond, socialize with other Bond fans. It's gonna be a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah. So kind of just give a little bit, give the viewers a little bit of a quick bio of yourself, what you're into, how you got into the Bond kick, and go from there.
Gotcha. I've been a Bond fan since I was a kid. I think my grandmother first introduced me to it. She used to watch me while my mother went to work and stuff like that. Um, Ever since then, I mean, growing up as a kid, we had was it called Spy Gear? I think it was. So I was into all that as well, and it just kind of stuck with me. Um, Became a fire. I kind of lost the bug a little bit, I guess, around high school during the end of the Pierce Brosnan era. But as soon as Daniel Craig took the role again, it kind of blew up all over. Um, I'm a EMT firefighter in Baltimore City. That's kind of what got me into firearms, believe it or not. It's kind of an odd thing, but we had a very bad neighbor that was threatening people in the neighborhood, and my first thought was arm yourself, don't be a victim. Got into firearms that way, and started collecting Bond guns since.
Nice. And you know what I really, because I listened to the podcast you did with Joe a
Hmm.
while ago, and I really liked the fact that you are not only informing people about firearms, but also telling them that they're not a big giant monster. I think
It
the
is. It's true. It's
bad
true.
nowadays, where all you see on the news is bad stuff and all that, but really, I feel like if you understand the firearm and you are serious about it and know how to understand what the consequences are and stuff like that, it's not, it's meant to, and I'm sure you can explain it a little bit better, but it's meant to, it's like you can use it as a hobby, you can use it to
Hmm.
protect yourself. It's not some big giant monster that the media has put out it to be.
That's true. No, yeah, I completely agree. That's my feeling on it too. Yeah, that's really all you ever hear about in the news is the negative side of it, whether it's like a mass shooting or anything like that, and which are terrible tragedies. At the same time, um, if when used correctly, it's a means of self-defense. It's a means of sport. It's a way to provide for your family if you're into hunting.
Mhm.
I always hear people like say that hunting is cruel, but where do you think you get that meat from the grocery store from? It's from, it's supplied. It's still an animal.
Yeah.
Um, I guess maybe some people are squeamish, but yeah, there's so much more to it than that. And when we're at the range, we get a lot of first-time shooters that come in, and they're all usually scared. Um, and like I said, we start off with a 22. It's something really small. I always describe it as a BB gun with a bottle rocket behind it, and it just gets you used to the noise, the sound, the function, a little bit of a recoil, but nothing that's going to blow you backwards or anything. And every time after the first couple shots, once that fear weighs off, they're ear to ear smiles.
Yeah, and that's something I kind of want to get into myself. I went to, and for those who don't know, I live in California, so the gun regulations and the laws are a little bit different over here than it is.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's a whole list. I went to kind of like a gun dealer store, and they were real nice. It was an older gentleman, um, and we talked about it. And I said, how do I get started? How does everything? How does the process? And he gave me like a huge packet of classes. Fill this out. $100 for you to do the classes, and then you'll get a certificate and all that kind of stuff. And it was quite a what I've heard is expensive, but it's something that I want to maybe venture out into in the future and invest a lot of time. And right now I'm at school. I'm going to college, and I'm trying to get my degree in aviation so I can be a commercial airline pilot. That is my goal. I want to
Very
fly.
cool.
and travel. My family has a lot of history with aviation. My father's been working with American Airlines for over 20 years, so I've had
Very
some
nice.
experience flying and all that. So I kind of want to expand on that, but definitely in the future as like a hobby or something, I want to get into, especially the uh, the arm aspect of 007 because that's a huge part of it, and
Oh
kind of
yeah.
expanding my knowledge on that I feel like would be super cool. And it'd be a cool conversation starter, especially having more conversations with you and other people in the Bond community that do enjoy seeing the guns and the different type of weapons out there. And that's I wanted to have when I had the chance to be able to talk to you, I got all excited because this is something new that I want to get into. And who there's no one else out there I'd rather talk to you than the Bond Armory himself. So I
Appreciate that.
I appreciate the videos you do. I think it's really awesome the content you do a little bit of the guns and the knives, and then you also do like the Eagle Moss. But I've heard about the DB5 kind of having some issues, right, with some of the boxes and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't gotten my last two shipments. I heard a rumor, somebody had posted a video in the UK saying that it was done, that they canceled it for people over there and they refunded everyone. Um, I thought it got canceled here, and then as soon as I said that, like a week later, another box showed up, but that was the last one I've gotten. I've just been really busy. I haven't contacted them back, but it's such a really cool kit. It's super, super detailed,
Yeah,
and the size of it is just going to be massive, hopefully, once it's done.
it
But yeah,
looks. Yeah, from all the reviews that I've seen on YouTube, it looks like a really detailed model and looks super cool with the lights and all that.
oh,
I think something I wanted, I was going to invest some money and try to get that, but I think for me, affordable option would probably get the Lego version. I'm not sure if you've seen that.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That looks pretty cool. I mean, I've grown up messing around with Legos, and then 007 and Lego, it just kind of works out. And um, I want to get that and kind of build that. And there's actually kits online, aftermarket kits that you can insert into the set and actually lights it up in a little bit,
I've
which
seen those. I've seen those. That's really cool.
but that's something I want to get into. But yeah, so you kind of shared a little bit about how you have the history and how your background with arms and all of that. And first off, thank you for being a firefighter. Thank you for your service and all of that.
Oh, appreciate it.
You guys are the ones that help us out in the times of need. But yeah, what kind of made you want to start up an Instagram or a YouTube channel rather, and just kind of be out there with the community?
Uh, so I was doing training at Free State Gun Range for competition shooting. I used to do rim fire, which is like 22s, shooting at steel plates, like 5 different plates as fast as you can. I shot a couple of those competitions and it was a lot of fun. But leading up to that, I needed a place to practice. Living in Maryland, there was a range right down the road from me, so I started going there. And one day, just talking to the owner after I got married, he's like, "You want to work here?" It's like, "Sure." I work 5 to 8 days a month with the fire department. I need a side job, so I started working there, and that gave me the opportunity and the access to other firearms. And after I built up my collection a little bit, um, I'm sure you're a member of. Are you a member of AJB, the forum
Yes.
online? Yep. The Mantis, David Zaritsky, or the Bond Experience, was always posting. And the one thing I never saw him do was a video on the firearms. So I messaged him, sent him an email saying I work here. You're in Pennsylvania. I'm in Maryland. It's not that far of a drive. Listed all the weapons that I had access to that were from the movies. And one day he was just like, "Let's do this." We picked a date. Him and Joe Darlington came down. We did 2 videos, one of the handguns, one of the rifles, and some full auto as well. And they were two of from what I remember, two of his like most viewed videos. And afterwards, we went out to lunch, and I was asking him about it. And I told him about how every time I pick up go out to hunt down and find as close to accurate of a Bond gun as possible. Not just a PPK, but the right caliber, around the right year, closest serial number, that kind of thing. That information just wasn't out there. On YouTube, you'll find videos. It's like, I have Bond's PPK, but is it though? That's imported by Interarms. That's not close. And asked him for his input on whether or not a channel would be a good idea, and he's like, "Oh, absolutely." Joe agreed, and I think within a week or two later, I did the first video with my little GoPro in my living room, and just kind of built up to, trying to do this in my workshop. So
Right.
just kind of learn as I go, progress, build it up, better equipment a little over time. So,
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
I remember I watched the beginning, your first video, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And
Thank you.
I love how you are able to incorporate and give us like a bird's eye view of actually being in the range and showing how you handle it, and then at the end you show us the your shots and how accurate you were. I think that's pretty cool. I actually have a couple friends, really close friends I've known since elementary school, that just got into the Air Force and the Army, and they're all the way over there. They're doing stuff at the range, and they're showing videos and talking about all that stuff. And I said, no, that's pretty cool. I want to expand my knowledge to kind of maybe go out with them sometime and shoot a couple rounds at the range. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I've been told too that you don't need a lot of like certification to just go out and shoot in the range. Is that true, or do you need like some sort of certificate if you just want to go out and just shoot for fun?
It depends on the what state you live in, country as well, and the location itself. For us, we have an electronic waiver that you'd have to fill out. Basically gives you all the range rules. You're agreeing to those. After that, we give you a 15-minute safety course where you actually go in, you'll watch a movie, then you'll do some hands-on with one of the instructors or me. We sit down, we go through everything that you just watched. I make sure that you can handle the firearm safely. You don't keep swinging it around with your finger on the trigger. After you're finished that, we'll take you out on the range. We'll watch you take a couple shots. If you feel comfortable, you're on your own. Any problems, leave the gun there, come out, get one of us, we'll come help you. Then periodically we have a range officer that'll go through, clean up the brass, make sure everybody's doing everything safe. Everybody's monitored on cameras. So most places are extremely safe. And like I said, depending on where you go, they might have additional steps. Some places require a membership. I know to shoot in certain competitions, there's like a little test that you'd have to take prior to, and then like a little qualification. So it just depends on the place. But most places, it's some sort of basic safety training that you'd have to go through. Usually a video, some hands-on, and then a little like a little trainer safety course, and then you're good to go. That's just to even get on to the range to shoot a handgun.
Nice.
Most places.
Nice. Now, so I'm from California. Say if I go over to your place, would the requirements be the same even though I'm from a different state, or would it be a little different?
Just to use the range, we have people from China, Ireland, New York, California, like everywhere. And they just come in, passport, photo ID, waivers, safety, watch you take the shots, and you're good to go.
Awesome.
So it doesn't. The laws won't change because you're from somewhere else.
Okay. Awesome.
It's the local laws are what prevails.
And the name of the range again?
Oh, Free State Gun Range in Middle River, Gun Range and Training Center.
I'll definitely have to come out when I have time and check it out. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
And being an honor to maybe even learn a little bit from you if you have free time over there. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. More than welcome anytime.
Thank you. Okay, so what's your favorite aspect of the Bond community as a whole?
As a whole, it seems like everybody that I've met in the community, everybody brings something different to the table, and whatever they're specializing in, their wealth of knowledge is unparalleled. Like Harris Thomas, I think you did an interview with him recently, dressing like Bond. Nobody's going to know more about like the fashion aspect than him. He's unbelievable. Joe Darlington being James Bond, suits of James Bond, Matt Spicer, David Zaritsky, Bond Experience. Those guys just know everything. I have my little, niche of firearms in the Bond world, but they just know everything else. And I mean, everybody I've met so far, Jay Sadowski, James Bond Classified, like all these guys, just their friendship as well, and the wealth of knowledge is just insane. And I think that's my favorite part, is that it's not just a blanket fandom. Everybody usually has some sort of part of Bond that they're attracted to. and that's what makes them a fan. And just that knowledge that they bring you, you can learn so much from everybody.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, I have to just kind of thank you and everybody that I talked to for, accepting me kind of late in the game. I mean, my Bond story,
Oh, there's no such thing.
yeah, my Bond story started when I was a senior year in high school, and I really was going through kind of a tough time figuring out what I wanted to do and something that I was, enjoyed and stuff like that. Friends were going off to college, people that I thought would be friends that forever were not, all that kind of stuff. And then one night I remember talking to my parents about, because it all started with the Kingsman franchise. I saw the first couple Kingsman movies. I was hooked. I thought that was the coolest
Oh,
thing ever.
huge
Uh,
fan.
I mean, I've been looking for. By the way, kind of sidetrack. I've been looking forever to find a prop replica of the handgun from Kingsman, and there was a website that used to do them, and then they, like, a couple of years after the movie, they were completely sold out.
Red
But
Wolf Airsoft, and
yeah,
they sold out almost immediately.
yeah,
Um, when we're done with this interview, I'll send you everything that you need. Go on eBay, get a Tokarev TT33 airsoft gun, and I'll send you the shotgun attachment that you can glue on there. I have
awesome,
it just sitting in my safe, so I got
awesome.
you.
Thank you. Wow, yeah. I mean, I saw that. I thought it was the coolest gun ever. I mean, that's so it was so different. It was, and I just instantly fell in love with the look, and I wanted it, and I could just see it on display in my room in a glass case or something. But like you said, they sold out in like a couple
They
years
really,
after.
I think they just reissued them too, and they're like almost double in price now.
Yeah,
It's an
it,
expensive prop.
yeah, it was like $300 or $400 just for the, yeah, and I was like, it's an investment, but I mean, it looks super cool. But yeah, that's awesome. And anyways, back to what I was saying.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No. I don't care. We're here to get to know each other. That's the point of this whole like series here. I love it. But Kingsman, and then all of a sudden my parents were like, "Have you ever seen a Bond film?" That's what the Kingsman is basically a spin-off of. And I was like, "Huh, I'll check it out." So one night I Googled James Bond and all that, and I realized I knew it was going on for a long time. And obviously he's famous. He's like the most, when you think of British gentleman spy, you think of James Bond. And
Number
so I
one.
was like, okay. Um, what was the first movie? And it was Doctor No in '62. And I was like, okay, I'll start there. And I'm so glad I did, because I know a lot of my friends that I've been introducing Bond to. I wanted them not to lose interest really fast, so I show them more of the modern movies. And then when they go back to the older movies, they're like, "Oh, this is slow, whatnot." So I'm so kind of happy. I'm so glad that I started with the first one, because I got to see the progression as the years went forward on the quality and the storyline and the action and just the whole style aspect of it. And I've been hooked ever since. And it's been coming up on almost 2 years now that I've been heavily into trying to collect different things, go to different locations. I just went to, it's funny because I live in Sacramento, the capital of California, and San Francisco's like literally right down the street. So I went with some
Really
friends, and
cool.
I had to go to the locations from A View to a Kill, because it's literally in my backyard. Why not? Might as well go and take
Right.
some pictures and all that. So I did that, which was super cool. I'm gonna go study abroad in London this upcoming
Very
summer,
nice.
and I'll be there for a month. So I'll be talking to Peter Brooker. He said he'll hook me up, and we'll go see some Bond locations, which is gonna be super awesome. And
Nice, nice.
just getting into the game and getting into this whole thing, I'm still trying to figure out my niche in this whole thing, trying to put my spin on things. I've been doing videos on YouTube about different frugal or discount clothing items that I found that fit the bill to look exactly like the ones you see in the movie. That's been doing really well. And then these interviews, mainly just trying to get to know everybody, and thank everybody for accepting me into the community and being so young and all that. I mean, one aspect I really love about this is that I feel like this is kind of where I belong, and I don't feel like I'm a burden on people talking. Whenever we talk about Bond, it's always a great experience, and it's always great people, and I thank everyone for that. And it's really just been a whole exciting treat, and especially with the new movie coming up and me going to London this summer, I feel like it's going to produce a whole bunch of great content, and then hopefully some day down the road, I'll be able to join you guys for events, and then we'll be able to meet face to face and continue this until all the way into the next two movies after No Time to Die and all that upcoming future wise stuff. So
Absolutely.
some exciting things to look forward to.
Absolutely they are. So why not videos on Bond and aviation?
I mean, that's actually, I've been jotting down ideas, and that idea has kept coming up. And there's a lot of cool things when it comes to Bond and aviation, because he's obviously, at least in the movie Bond, he's a pilot and he can fly literally everything. So I mean, I was actually kind of thinking, even if it's little model planes, what I could do is like buy the model planes of every plane that was seen in Bond and do a little video on what it is, the different specs on it, and like how Bond used it to his advantage or something like that. That's kind of, I think, what the next series for my channel is going to be on.
Very cool.
Um, and then also, I would love, on at least for the Instagram part, to take a lot of pictures and travel a little bit more, and just the whole thing about aviation would be, like you said, it'd be a good, connection with Bond. It's just a matter of, finding the right plane and finding the right model, and then filming it and all that. And then on top of going to school and all that. But, I love doing this, and I will do it, you know, I stay up extremely late doing videos.
Too late.
Right. Even after, even when I'm doing a whole like 4 hours of studying and whatnot, I'm still checking Instagram, making sure I say hi to people that I need to say hi to, or just posting the latest news and whatnot. It's truly been an exciting experience, and I am so thankful for the future, what it has to hold. I can't express that enough, especially with the events coming up, like Operation, I think it's Snowfall or something like that, and
Yeah.
that sounds pretty exciting. And then the premiere coming up, and just everything that has to do with it. And the great thing is, I've been listening to some podcasts, and I think a lot of it's kind of just the beginning. I feel like after the movie ends, everyone's going to have their own input, their own videos and whatnot. And another thing I'd like to incorporate myself is, down in the future, at least once the weather starts getting a little bit better, I want to have events of my own, whether it's, people in my community close by, or obviously I'm going to open up to everybody. But I mean, maybe just like a movie. I have a projector, so I was thinking maybe an outside movie under the stars or something.
That would be cool.
Popcorn and just,
That's an excellent idea.
And just enjoying the California summer. I feel like, it'd be fun, but that's still in the works, depending on, where I am in the future and all that. But what are you going on to my next question after I rambled on? Sorry.
No, not at all.
But what are you excited for, future wise, when it comes to Bond?
Well, we obviously have No Time to Die coming up. That's probably the biggest one. But then everything after that, because all the, I don't want to say teasers, but the detective work that goes on with all the leaked photos, the trailers, things like that, people identifying different things in the movie, whether it's clothing, firearms. Once the movie's out, everybody's going to rev into high gear, and it's going to be all over the place, whether it's, what hat does he wear, what shirt, what car, what weapon, what pair of pants, what shoes. That to me is one of the fun parts, is just watching everybody scramble, all the new content that comes out based around that, whether reviews, people praising or complaining about whatever in the film. That this is where the big stuff happens, where the most fun, I think, happens. And then eventually it'll start to kind of like trickle and slow down. But hopefully by that point, we're going to have something else to look forward to, a new announcement, whether it's a new Bond or a new movie. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But yeah, this is going to be the height of the fun coming up soon.
I'm excited for it.
What about you? What are you looking forward to?
Oh shoot! I mean, I agree with you on the Bond, like the new movie coming up. Obviously, that's the height of everything. But for me personally, I'm excited to just kind of connect with all of you guys more, and maybe doing collab videos of shoot, maybe one day you and I will do a collab video on a certain weapon, or a reaction video or something like that, or me talking with Harris Thomas doing reaction video, stuff like that. I mean, just getting connected with the community, me myself, expanding my collection more, whether it's clothing or props, or different things like posters. It's just the cool thing about all of this is that there's so many things that you can grasp onto, and
Oh, there are.
and have in your
And you're a car guy as well too, right?
right, yeah. I mean, I actually went to, when I was going on my trip to San Francisco, I stopped in a little city called Walnut Creek along the way to San Francisco at the Aston Martin dealership that they have over there, and they actually want to do a photo shoot kind of with me dressing up
Nice.
in a suit and a tie and kind of doing the
That's
whole
awesome.
thing. And that will be, if it does happen, because I talked to the lady in charge of the marketing department, and she said she'll definitely get in contact with me. And if that happens, you're obviously going to see a bunch of videos on my Instagram about the whole
Right,
process,
right.
and video on the whole process, which I think would be really exciting because I love cars. I mean, whether they're classics or modern cars. And it's funny because my first car was actually a classic car. It's a 1961. You might need to Google this after the interview, but 1961 Hillman Husky. It's a kind of a small sedan. It's an English car, which is kind of cool. It originally was produced in England, and I saw it at a car show that I was at a couple of years ago, and I instantly saw me and my friends just jam packed in it. And
Nice, nice.
that's the car I learned how to drive manual in, and I go to car shows now and then with it, and everyone's all like, "What is that? What is that?" And it's so cool, the connection. And um, I just love that aspect, and maybe doing a little something with cars too, car related. And I know there's certain accounts like Bond Cars of 007. I know there's an account on Instagram that does that, which is really cool. But I love going to different shows and like taking pictures of either British cars or cars that were in Bond related, and posting about it. So I don't know. That's one part that I really love about it. But yeah, overall, it's super exciting because there's so much content coming up, and there's
Hmm.
so many things, whether it's concerts or different events put on by you guys. And I'm just
I think
excited.
that's going to be a big one too. Is what all of us put together. Just not even wouldn't even call them events, just gatherings with
Exactly.
fans, and that's going to be huge this upcoming year, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Um, but yeah, I guess kind of a couple closing questions here. Your favorite arm, in whether it's literary or film wise. Well, let's do that. We'll do literary and film wise. How about that?
Fa- Favorite firearm, literary and film wise. Uh, I might be a little biased and say PPK. I'm gonna have to, yeah. Walther PPK in 32, the correct chambering. The 380 tends to be a little snappy to me for such a small gun. The 32 is a lot smoother. Um, People always trash on the caliber, like, oh, 9 millimeter or nothing, nine and up. I don't think so. I think a bullet's a bullet. It does what it's supposed to do as long as you put it in the right place. But yeah, PPK. I'll give the PPK for the film. Literary, the Golden Gun. The original Golden Gun was a Colt Peacemaker in 45 long Colt, and that it's a lot of fun to shoot. That
Nice. Yeah.
cowboy style pistol, single action army, a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I'll stick with those answers.
That's pretty
So
cool.
visually, what's your favorite? You've never shot a firearm before?
I actually, a while ago, I fired, I believe it was, shoot, I know for sure it was a handgun, and I believe it was a Glock. I forget which one it was, but it was kind of funny, ironic. It was at a church camp event.
Oh,
um,
really?
yeah, we were out in the going camping, as it was like a men's group thing, and one of the guys there had all of his firearms out, and it was there by a range, so we all went out and shot a couple rounds, which was kind of fun. But I was around, shoot, 12, 13, 14 years old, so It was a while ago, but visually, I mean, I have to go. Obviously, the Walther PPK. I mean, it's the look is so sleek. I think it's such an elegant looking weapon.
I agree.
And I mean, I think with the configuration, the next one would have to be the Glock, but with the configuration we see in Spectre, I think that
The KPOS.
I
Yes.
think that's pretty cool.
It is. It is. I had to. I thought about doing a video on that. I had all the pieces that I needed except for the correct generation Glock, but my state's laws are different than what the federal law is, and it would require me to do machine work to add an extra inch and a half to the actual base of the firearm to make it legal. Otherwise, it would be considered an SBR. Actually, it didn't even meet the SBR requirements for the state. It met them federally, so I had to abandon the project. But that is a really cool setup. Definitely neat. A lot of those parts are actually one-offs. They were made directly for the film, so some of them are impossible to duplicate properly. But like you said, that's a really cool setup.
Now, are you able to have the Walther PPK where you're from? Are you able to? Okay. Yeah, for us, we're not allowed to. California is actually illegal to have the Walther PPK. So,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I walked in and I was like, the first question I said, so do you guys sell the Walther PPK? And like, no, we only have the I think it was the PPK or PPS, something like that. It was a more chunkier looking, modern looking Walther, and he said, yeah, that's the only one we're legally able to sell in California. And I'm like, darn it.
Right.
I'll definitely have to make a trip over there and maybe fire a real Walther PPK, just like the one Bond fired. And that would be a really great vlog or video to put together there. I think it would be pretty awesome. So
Absolutely. Anytime you want to come, let me know.
But yeah, I mean, again, thank you so much. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're gonna start to get ready to go to the events pretty soon, so I don't want to keep you anymore. But I hope you have a great event. It sounds like it's gonna be loads of fun.
I hope so.
Thank you very so much for taking time out of your day and being on that one Bond Guy Meets. It was truly a treat for me. So.
No, not a problem at all. It was a pleasure talking to you. Look forward to the next time.
Oh yeah, for sure. And until next time, I'll see you around. All right, my friend.
Have a good one.
All right, bye.